Welcome to Small Scale Life.
Hey guys, this is Tom from Small Scale Life. Hey, welcome to the garden. I'm back here in the garden and just want to show you what's going on back here. Hit subscribe, hit like, share them with your friends. You know, it's all fun, right? And my name is Tom. I'm from Small Scale Life, and welcome to my garden. It's about sunset. I'm going to flip this around here. It's about sunset, and I just want to come out here and show you what's going on. The garden is doing pretty well. Things have really taken off this week. I was a little worried about what was going on back here, but things have really started to take off. The tomatoes are starting to grow, and it's great. Got the vertical garden going over here, and that's really good too. So I'm really getting excited about what's happening, and just want to take you along with it. So in this video, we'll do an overview on this one, and then we'll get into some of the nitty-gritty about the trellising and tomatoes, and then the vertical garden here. So just a general overview. Big change here in the garden. You can see right here, walking the perimeter, we've got a new fence in place. We just put that in last week because of the dog that's staying with us. She was finding her way into the garden and digging in the cool soil, and it was really hell on the plants. I'm just gonna say it was hell on the plants. Lost a couple tomatoes, lost a bunch of things. So this extra fence has really helped out a lot. And next year we're talking about how do we make this more permanent, and we might bring the fence from the edge of the house over here and connect into this fence, you know, something more permanent with a gate over there. I don't know, we're still talking about it. Maybe a big gate right here if we cut it off here and bring it along the line, bring it all the way up. This poor flower bed has just been kind of beat up this year. You know, this bleeding heart took it. She likes to lay right there. We have a hole over there where delphinium was, that's gone. So it's just been a lot of damage, but you know, that's part of having a dog and training it and everything. So anyway, the garden. Let's talk about the garden. So I'm going to have a whole new area to play with next year. It's going to be a lot of fun. So you'll want to stick around for that. These garden beds have seen better days. You can see this one right here. The board is rotting out, not even connected to anything anymore. This chicken wire is really holding it together. So I'm going to have a whole 24 by 12 space to deal with, to play with. And I'd like to replace these beds with self-watering beds, wicking beds, maybe some different kind of raised beds with steel. I don't know. We're going to figure that out. We're going to play with it a little bit, and we'll come up with some ideas. So this is bed one, what I call bed one. This is Alcatraz. And put the fence around it this year, but still the dog got in there. And really what I've got going are peppers, some tomatoes in the back, a couple onions here and there, some geraniums here and there, and then the 3 squash plants. And you know, I've had trouble growing squash or zucchini in the past. These are zucchini plants, all 3 zucchinis. I've had trouble growing them in the past just with squash borers and downy mildew. Haven't had that problem here yet. These 2 smaller plants are still struggling a little bit. This one has gone to town. So let's talk about this for a little bit. You can see down here I've got some zucchini coming, which is great. I've got some more on the way. Those are the female. This is a male. So that's pretty exciting. You can see where I've actually tried to trellis this guy. It was kind of flopping all over, and I'm trying to trellis it. We'll see what happens. But I've wrapped my baling twine around the base of this, tied it off there, and I've got it connected up here to the pipe. So this is how I trellis, everybody. This is, you know, I build a simple frame. This one's a little more ornate. This was the very first one I built, but I've gone more simple with the T or like a goalpost. Really helps keep these plants stable. I was out here, you know, with this other zucchini. I've tried to trellis this up. You know, I'm really trying to focus it to move this way. Same with that one, to push it that way, to try to train it, get out of the way of this big guy and let these other 2 grow. And you know, I had to feed those with some micronutrients this week to get them a little healthy, because you could see the leaves were stressed. They're showing that they weren't getting all the micronutrients they need. So that's what I'm going to try here with these zucchini plants, is to trellis them this year. But you can see here on the pepper plants that this is how I trellis them. Once the pepper plants really get growing, they get really top heavy, and a big wind, they will break. So that's been my experience in the past. And so basically how I do it, you can see there, is I tie around the base, work the twine around the base of it. Now I got a bunch of peppers in this area, and you can see what happens if you don't trellis, right? This guy's falling over. They're just kind of willy-nilly. So I'm going to have another trellis right in here at about 4 feet high, and I'll get these peppers tied up here. So that's this bed. I will say that the soil in this bed needs some work. What I did in this bed last year is I had a ton of peas, and you can see the difference. Same cherry tomatoes. This one is about 5 feet tall. This one is a little bit about closer to 4, right? And this one has lots of tomatoes on it. This one has just a couple. So you can see the quality of soil is different between these two beds, and that's something that you have to pay attention to. You know, you can add fertilizers to it. Really what I should have done is added peas and beans to this soil to improve the health, improve the quality. I mean, things are growing, but they could be growing a lot better. So in this bed, I do have Alpaca Roma heirloom tomatoes. That's what these are. You can see that, and I'll show you in the other bed too, I haven't been as diligent as I have been in the past, where I look at suckers. This is a sucker. You have the main stem, a branch, and then the sucker is coming up. Last couple of years, another one right here, and here's another one right here. And in years past, I had these, I was aggressively pruning, really stripping these down, but this year I'm kind of backing off. Just, I want to see what's going on, I want to see what they do, and I'll let a couple suckers go. So these tomatoes are coming along. You can see here, this tomato, one of them was starting to look a little red. I think this guy, but they're coming. It's just slow and steady wins the race. So you can see on these, like this guy, I tie around the base and wind the baling twine around it, and then bring it up to the pole. So that's bed one. That's my Alcatraz bed. This is bed 2. This is what I call Fort Snelling. A little more established, and you know, things are growing well here. We've got kohlrabi up front. You can see this kohlrabi. Don't try not to get you too sick here. You can see this kohlrabi right here. That's what you want. Growing really nice there. The other ones are coming. Slow and steady wins the race, right? Then I have some really good looking basil back in this area. These two basil I actually removed from the vertical garden and put them in here. They just didn't look like they were doing well, and I had a little space, so I threw them back in here, and they're really perking up and doing well. These basil plants, I've already harvested some basil on these plants, and so we're going to come up to a second cutting here really quickly. But you can see what happens. You know, I cut right here, and now I've got two. Right, 2 sprigs coming off, and it just looks really great, really great. These are all bush beans. This was an area that had basil in it before and some other things, but it got rototilled up by the dog. So I've added beans, bush beans, and they're already budding, which is great. And then I've got some suckers that I trimmed off the cherry tomato plants, and they are doing well. So they're coming right along. It's a good experiment just to see what's going to happen. And then back here, I've got more tomatoes. I've got a black cherry here that's coming along. Never grown a black cherry before, so this was Michael Bell's recommendation, so I'm giving that a shot. And I've got 3 San Marzanos that are looking really strong. They've got buds. It's coming along. And then I've got a cherry tomato here that's really starting to grow. It's probably about 5 feet tall. We've got tomatoes. We've got one right here that's starting to turn red. Pretty excited. The other thing, like I said, I'm not aggressively pruning this year. So I've got a couple suckers and I've actually trellised them. I've got one here. This is the main stem. I've got another one here. And I'm encouraging growth. I just want to see what happens. So that's what's going on in the main beds here. I'll make another video here on the vertical garden right over there. And that's what's going on. Last year of this configuration, haven't had any hummingbirds, but dang, looks like I'm getting some hornets, which is never good. Yeah, look at that guy. Not fun. But this is the last year in this configuration, and then everything changes. So stay tuned. We'll show you what we're going to do. Let's see what happens with this garden. And you'll notice I don't have any cucumbers. I don't know if I have enough beans for dilly beans, but you know, for canning operations, we're going to be having to go to the farmer's market and get some more stuff. Oh, one more thing I forgot to show you. Let me flip this around here. Broccoli. That's my broccoli. So this is where I was picking up the cabbage worms. You can see the holes on the leaves from the cabbage worms. I think I've eliminated them all at the moment, but it's a constant process. We've got some broccoli right there, waiting for the other heads to develop. So that is really exciting. So if you like what you see, hit subscribe, hit like, share it with your friends, and stay tuned. We're going to be doing a lot more in this garden. We got a lot more coming up. And if you like this one, check out the vertical garden, because that's coming up next, okay? All right, everybody, this is Tom from Small Scale Life. Remember to learn, do, and grow. We'll see you soon. Take care, everybody.